estate developer Equity Residential, chaired by legendary investor Sam Zell, hasn't touched New York City real estate in 3 years. But that changed Monday with the purchase of 3 residential towers from William Macklowe. Now, Macklowe called Zell personally to offer him the properties. And David Neithercut is president and CEO of Equity Residential, joining me from Chicago. David, great to have you with us.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so we all want to know what were the details in that phone call. How did it exactly happen? And were these 3 properties the only ones offered?
Well, they were. And there had been some preliminary conversations about these assets earlier in 2009, but interest died, I think, on the seller's part. But they came back to us in early December with a phone call from Billy Macklowe to our chairman, Sam Zell, trying to get things started again. We were happy to get that call and proceeded very quickly to try and make a deal happen.
Right. It was, in fact, very quick. I mean, why overall? I mean, it's been 3 years, David, since you've actually been into the New York City real estate market. So fast it happened, but why did it take so long?
Well, we had refrained from buying any assets for quite some time, as you note, really just from trying to be defensive, worrying about balance sheet, worrying about the credit meltdown and our ability to fund ourselves going forward. So we continued to sell assets for several years and hoard cash, pay down debt, and make sure we had sufficient capital to pay off our debts in 2010, 2011. And when the credit markets improved and we became more comfortable with our ability to fund ourselves on an ongoing basis, we began to think more about acquisitions, but wanting to make sure that they were the right kind of assets in the right markets at the right prices. And this was just one of those deals that happens every now and then, and one can't dally, and one has to get right on it, and so we did.
Right. So when something comes up, you want to grab that. But does that mean, David, then that we may see more of your company moving into the New York real estate market, or are we talking about elsewhere from here on out?
Well, also, we own assets across the country in New York, Washington, Boston, San Francisco, Seattle, Southern California.
Right.
And we have acquired several assets in the Washington, D.C. market. We're looking at other deals there, looking at some deals in Southern California and Seattle. So we do play in lots of different markets. We certainly like New York. We'd be happy to own more assets in New York. And when presented with 3 high-quality assets like this, we jumped at the opportunity.
And some might say that this presents a pretty significant moment for New York real estate, that this may mean perhaps that other investors would start moving into distressed real estate, at least in New York. No?
Well, I suppose that's possible. I think one of the advantages of dealing with Equity Residential is I don't think there are too many people that could do a $475 million transaction in 60 days with cash on their balance sheet. So I think that's possible, but I think there are very few companies that can do a deal of this size on an all-cash basis. And
quickly, David, I mean, how many acquisitions do you think we're talking about here, whether that you're looking for in 2010?
Well, for Equity Residential, well,
yes.
we release our guidance tomorrow at the close of business, and in that we'll talk about what our acquisition goals are for the year. But there will certainly be more than what we've done. As I say, we're confident and comfortable with our ability to fund ourselves going forward. We do believe we can continue to sell assets as we exit older assets in our non-core markets, and that will create the capital that will enable us to invest in our core markets. And I do expect to see more opportunities to buy assets in 2010 than there were in 2009.
Okay, David, we'll have to leave it there, but thanks so much for joining us. That was David Neithercut, president and CEO of Equity Residential.